Let's take a look at the tools that are included within Studio One 7 and how we can access them and make use of them. So up at the very top in our toolbar here, we can see over to the left we have all of the tools that are available. Now, of course, we can simply click here to access those. We'll come back to the arrow tool. These are also tied into the number keys at the top of our QWERTY keyboard. So pressing 1, we have the arrow tool, and 2 would be the range tool. 3 is the split tool, 4 the eraser, and so on. And we'll cover each of these in just a moment. Let's press 1 to come back to the arrow tool. Now we can also right click within the arrange view and access these tools from here. And you can see the numbers, what these are tied to that we were just taking a look at a second ago. Now, the paint tool is unique in that we have this further menu where we can choose the mode that it's going to work in. And we'll cover that in just a moment. Now, finally, if your mouse has a wheel, a mouse wheel, then we can click on that and quickly switch between the tools like so. We'll press 1 to come back to the arrow tool. And let's actually hop over to the loops tab within our browser, and I'm going to drag in a loop so that we have an event that we can work with to show how we can use these tools. I'm going to press Shift and E to zoom in on this vertically. Let's just make this really large so we can see what's going on here. Now, by default, we have this bracket here, and this should be active by default. So if you're just getting started with Studio One, then this will probably be on. And if you notice, once I click on that, we have the arrow tool and the range tool that are both highlighted. So both of these are going to be active when we're working in our arrange view. So as I hover at the bottom portion of this audio event, as it's called, we have the arrow tool. We can click once to select and move this event like so. We can hover at the edge. Our arrow changes to these double arrows, and then we can trim like so. And we can hover at the right edge and trim as well. Notice that this trimming action is snapping to quarter note subdivisions, and that's because our snap is turned on and our quantized value is set to quarter notes. If I were to turn the snap off, then you'll see we can freely move this without that snapping behavior. But we'll go ahead and turn the snap back on. We can also press in to toggle that snap on and off. Now, if I were to change this to, say, eighth notes, notice our grid lines update showing our eighth note subdivisions. Now, as you can imagine, when I trim, this is going to snap to those eighth note subdivisions. So just note that when we're performing certain actions with the tools, they may be affected by our snap and the quantized value that we have set here. And these settings are also going to affect the behavior of certain tools here, like our arrow tool, the range tool, our split tool, and some of these others that we'll see in just a moment. Okay, now I mentioned that this bracket is going to activate both the arrow and range tool, and we've seen how we can use the arrow tool when we're hovering at the bottom or at the edge to trim. But as I move past this center line here, notice our arrow is going to change to these crosshairs. And at the top half of our event, the range tool is going to be active. So with this, I can come and notice how this is snapping to our eighth notes. Let's change this to the quarter note. Okay, so you can see, let's unhighlight that. Now you can see a bit more clearly that this vertical white line is snapping to our grid. Now again, at the top we have the range tool, so I can left click and hold and select a range. Notice we have that snapping behavior. Now that I have this selected, I can press delete on my QWERTY keyboard and remove that out. Let's undo. I can also come down to the bottom where we switch automatically back to the arrow tool, left click hold, and then I can drag this selection. Let's again undo. Now also we can come to the top and we have this pointer finger that becomes active. I can left click hold and drag this down like so. Let's hold control and click to take that back to 0 dB. So this combination of the arrow tool and range tool being activated when we have the bracket selected here is supposed to help with editing. So again, if we'd like to move certain parts or we'd like to remove certain parts, we can highlight and delete as we just saw. But for me, I rarely do this sort of editing, so I prefer that it doesn't switch on me. And I often have some of my students in my web training, they want to drag certain events and then they accidentally select a range and they're a bit confused about why that is. So if you'd prefer just to have the arrow tool active, deselect that bracket, and now no matter where you hover, you're always going to have the arrow tool active. Okay, so pressing tool 2 we switch to the range tool, and we've already seen how that works. Selecting ranges, let's press 3 and access our split tool. Now here we can just left click and make cuts to our audio, and now you can see these audio events are now separate, and we can do editing to these as individual events. Let's undo that action, and if you notice that our split tool is, of course, being affected by our snap because that's on. But if you'd really like to make some precise cuts in specific areas, just turn your snap off and then you can make cuts wherever you'd like. Let's undo that. Now moving on, I'll press 4 to access our erase tool. So with this, we can just click once to remove our events out. And let's press 5 to access the paint tool. And at the beginning of the video, I switched the mode for this paint tool, but by default, this is going to be on the freehand. Now, if I were to come to an empty area on our audio track, then I can click, hold, and drag to add an empty audio event, which I'm not sure what this could be useful for, but just know that you can create empty audio events. Let's undo that. And then let's come to the bottom left-hand corner of this audio track and expand out these automation lanes. Whenever you add an audio track, it's automatically going to have volume and panning available for automation. So let's expand out this lane by hovering, left click, hold, and drag. And now I can left click and freely draw in some automation here for our panning. So now let's play this back, and we should hear this panning within our speakers or headphones. Okay, so let's undo that and we'll switch modes here. So again, left click and hold on that downward facing arrow. Let's try out a square and then come down here and let's turn our snap on actually, and we'll take the quantize setting to half note. We'll come down to our automation lane and left click hold, and now we're adding a square wave to that panning. Let's come back to the beginning of our song by pressing the comma, spacebar to play back. Okay, we'll undo that. Then we'll switch to, let's say, the sine. Again, this is going to be added at our half note setting because our snap is turned on. Left click hold. Now, as I move up, we can see that the intensity of this automation is going to increase. As I move towards the center, it's going to be more subtle. Now let's give this a listen. And we can see that movement here of our panning. Okay, we'll again undo, and let's take our paint tool back to the default mode. And we'll take a closer look at this when we get to the edit view and work with some MIDI. Now we'll press 6 to access the mute tool, and then with this we can click once to mute audio events or MIDI parts. Within the arrange view, we can click again to toggle this and unmute it. Now pressing 7, we access the bend tool, and we can see that this is being affected by our snap. Right now that's set to half note. Let's change that to quarter. Now you can see we're snapping to that quarter note subdivision. So I'm going to click on bar 3 and add a bend marker there, and here, and here, and here. Now we're not seeing anything because we actually need to take an additional step to show the bend marker view. So let's right click on this event, click on this checkbox for bend marker, and now we can see those bend markers that we added. And now I can come to this bend marker here and then left click hold, and then I can time stretch this audio information, and notice that is snapping to the quarter note. We may want to be more precise or have finer control of this, so let's take the snap off. Again, hover on that bend marker, left click hold, and drag left or right. When this turns green, then our audio is being compressed. The deeper the green, the more it's being compressed. The deeper the red, the more this audio is being stretched. Now these bend markers on the outside serve as anchors to protect this audio here from being stretched and to protect the audio to the left from being adjusted. Okay, so like so. Now the bend marker is a bit of a deep topic, but just know that this is how you can access it and one of the basic functions for this tool. Let's go ahead and undo all of this work here, and we'll right click to turn the bend marker view off. Now lastly, we'll press 8 to activate the Audition or Listen tool. Now with this, wherever we click on our track, playback will begin from that area and the track itself will be soloed. And if we had multiple other tracks within this song, those will be muted, this will be soloed, and we begin auditioning wherever we click. So let's go ahead and click on bar 3. Notice our playback cursor is here, but once I click at bar 3, notice this goes into solo, and I'm continuing to hold the left mouse button down, and as long as I hold, this will be auditioned. And this could be good to quickly get to an area if you think there's a problem with your audio, maybe some artifacts, and you just want to quickly solo that track and jump immediately to that area to check it out. Okay, so these are all of our tools and how we can make use of them with an audio event on our audio track. Let's Shift and W to zoom out vertically a bit, and we'll press 1 to come back to the arrow tool. Let's open up our browser and we will bring in an instrument. Let's just say the MIDI here, and let's go ahead and choose a preset here. Okay. Alright, so we've got our preset chose. I'm going to double click to add a MIDI part. Again, with our arrow tool active, just as we did with our audio event, we can hover at the edge of our MIDI part and extend this out like so. Our snap is turned off, so that's freely being moved or trimmed without any restrictions. If I turn this on, our value is set to quarter note. As you can guess, we then snap to that quarter note subdivision. Now if I switch to the split tool, this is going to function the same as we saw with our audio event. We can split, and it's going to take into account our snap and quantize value if we have those active. And let's press 1 to come back to our arrow tool, because one of the things that I want to mention is that if you notice we have a little blue line here under our split tool. Now this is going to make the split tool function as our alternative tool. So we do have the arrow tool active, and we can see wherever I hover, we have that arrow tool. But if I were to press Control or Command on the Mac and hold Control, we will then switch to the split tool, and we can make splits on our audio event or our MIDI part. As soon as I release the Control on the QWERTY keyboard, we immediately switch back to our arrow tool. So this blue line represents, or whatever it's under, that's going to be our alternative tool. We can switch this by repeatedly pressing 1 on the QWERTY keyboard. So now we switch to the eraser tool. I'll hold Control. As I'm holding, we now have the erase tool available. If I press 1 again, we put that under the paint tool. If I hold Control, we now have the paint tool. As long as I'm holding Control, I'll release. And I'm just going to press, actually, we also have this downward facing arrow here for the arrow tool. If I left click and hold, we can then switch our alternate tool in this method as well. Now we switch back to our split tool. Now let's double click on our MIDI part here. And now we have the edit window down below. I'm going to hold Control and use my mouse wheel to zoom in a bit here vertically. Let's press comma to take our playback cursor to the beginning of the song. Now within the edit window, we have the same tools, although we're missing the range tool. We don't have that. So just know the numbers, what these are tied to, are going to change a little bit. So 1 is our arrow tool, but 2 is going to access our split tool, whereas up here, 3 is going to be for our split tool because we have that additional range tool up above. Now while the arrow tool is active, I can double click to add a MIDI note. Again, double clicking here. And if you notice, these are added at 16th notes, and I'm coming to the edge and extending these out manually. These will be added. The length will be determined by what we have the quantize value set here. So if I were to change this to a half note and then double click at bar 2, we can see that a half note is added. Now if I press 2 to activate the split tool, then we can, you see that snapping to our half note. Let's actually change this to quarter. Now that snaps to our quarter note subdivision, and I can make cuts to the MIDI notes here. Let's press 3 to activate the paint tool, and with the paint tool we can also add MIDI notes, but with this active we just need to click once and then that's going to be added, versus with the arrow tool we need to double click. Now if I left click and hold, then while I'm holding I can extend this note out for as long as I'd like. So this is going to be one difference between the adding notes with the paint tool and the arrow tool. Also, while the paint tool is active, when I hover over existing notes, it automatically switches to the erase tool, and then I can come over to notes and that automatically changes, and I can delete these out like so. Now if I press 4 to activate the erase tool, then we see we have the eraser. I can left click and hold and just move over and delete all of those notes out. Let's undo and press 5 for our mute tool. Then I can hover on these MIDI notes and toggle these to mute or unmute. And then finally we have that same Audition tool, so we can click anywhere within the edit window, our track. Let's scroll down a bit. We can see our MIDI here. So once I click in the edit view, we're going to start here at bar 2, beat 3. And you notice here that our MIDI instrument track is being soloed, and we don't hear that initial loop that we brought in. Let's press 1 to switch back to the arrow tool, and let's hold Control and use our mouse wheel to zoom in a bit more, because if you notice our arrow tool has a downward facing arrow here, just the same as up above. Now when we click on this we choose the alternate tool, but within the edit view when we click on this we can change between extended functionality or basic. So when we have basic, as I hover over these MIDI notes, our arrow tool doesn't change at all. But if we come to the extended option, then as I hover at the top here of this MIDI note, we can see that the arrow changes. And then when I left click, hold, and drag down, we are adjusting the velocity for this MIDI note. So just take note, this is the velocity for E2. As I hover at the top, left click and hold, we then adjust its velocity. Now if I hover at the bottom of this MIDI note, we can see that our arrow changes to the split tool automatically. And now I can just click once and split those notes. Now if I come to this area where I've made the split, it can be here where I just made the split, or it can be here. We have this tube of glue that pops up, and I can click once to join those two notes together. Same here, hovering at that split, we switch to the tube of glue, and I can left click once to join those two notes together. Now as we saw in the arrange view above, if I right click, we can access our tools here and the different modes for the paint tool. And also if I click on the mouse wheel, we can then choose from our tools here as well. Okay, so this has been a look at the available tools within Studio One and how they function, how we can make use of them. I hope this has been helpful, and we'll wrap up here. I hope to see you in the next tutorial, and thanks for watching.